Okay. Well, if 111 is a wish, is it my lucky wish? My wish to have you on has become true.
Yeah,
So
there we are. My wish to be on has finally been met after
it's,
all these years.
I know one's not lucky. I know eight's lucky in Asia.
In yeah, China specifically, I think.
Yeah, and I know three's very unlucky
Three, what, in China?
in Asia. Like when I was living in Malaysia, in the hotels, it would go
Right.
ground floor, first floor, second floor, 2A, fourth floor.
Really?
Because no one wanted to stay on the
I've
first
heard
floor
that.
because it was unlucky.
That's weird. I wonder why. I've heard that four is unlucky because the word for four sounds like the word for death.
How? Four death.
Yeah, no, 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 not here in China.
Oh, okay, that's to say, like,
Yeah.
that was fucking messed up. No, I couldn't even try and do it like an accent to turn to four. Anyways, weird. Joe, Robert, cheers for coming on, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
So yeah, a little bit about Joel. I gigged with Joel on a Wednesday where I tanked it, and you were we'll call you the headline act because you was last on.
I was on last, yes.
You glamorise it, and yeah, I mean, would you describe yourself as sort of like just like deadpan observationalist?
Yes, I think that's it. Deadpan, observational, and like a little bit absurd sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, like you was last on. You was the best of the night. Like
Thanks.
you had
I
them
mean,
going.
also you get I don't know, like you get a boost from being on last as well. So it's
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was quite hard when there was a lot of how to politely say it. There was a lot of sniff heads in the crowd.
I like your word for it. There were a lot of sniffheads that I mean it was very blatant as well. Like I mean they were wearing the uniform. There was like guys with the little bag on, and they were the ones where they have the little bag and they were going to the toilet and
The gangster bags,
wearing
yes. I mean, it was just, to be fair, it was a normal Wednesday night for recreational activities. Like,
yes.
it must get to a point where, you can't wait for the weekend anymore.
Yeah. Well, Wednesday is the new Friday.
It is, to be honest. So, well, it used to be Thursday's the new Friday. Maybe they're just one step ahead of the game now.
Yeah, exactly. They just they're excited for the weekend. They can't wait till Thursday to have their sort of like pre-weekend bit of sniff. So it's starting on Wednesday now in
So, like, are,
Essex.
are
In
we are we gonna be trendsetters and start doing it on Tuesdays now? Just going that one step forward.
Yeah, they'll be blown away.
They'll be amazed. So, yeah, Joe, reason for the pod is sort of, it's your story because I watched you. I thought you was absolutely brilliant. So I always get giddy when I've seen someone I like their stuff and get to talk to them. So, we'll go right back to the beginning of, how and why did we get into comedy?
Mm. Well, this is my story. Um,
Dim lights, dude.
you what? Giblets?
Dim lights, dim lights. Like,
Oh,
you know,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh, I was about 2.5 years ago. Um, I think this is actually the catalyst. I was watching Seinfeld. I'd never seen it before. Um, the show.
yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. Right. So the early episodes, it always starts and like with him doing bits of stand up. Um, they canned it in the later episodes because no one like understood why it was happening. But and I just thought, you know what, he makes it look so easy and fun.
Mm.
And I think I'd kind of like I grew up watching, like Live with the Apollo and the panel shows on TV and everything, and I always just thought I feel like that language and that way uh, of performing is just sort of like implanted in my head. So I feel like I've sort of been doing stand up in my head to myself for my whole life,
Mm.
and I thought I'd give it a go doing it to other people as well.
Okay, and like, did you go for like via a course or did you just like try and find an open mic spot?
No, I just went. I googled open mics in London and went that way.
Okay, and where was your first place?
It was at G&B.
Yep.
Yeah, it was I don't think they do this venue anymore. It's Arch One. It's just this sort of like random arch in the middle of nowhere in like southeast, I think, or maybe more east.
Hmm.
Um, it's like basically a hole. But it was a really good night. My first gig was absolutely amazing.
Okay, like, well,
Um,
so it went well.
yeah, the first one went well. It was a really warm crowd. I was on second to last, which is like the prime spot for a new person.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, everyone just like really got on board with what I had to say. And then my second gig, I felt the defeating realities
Good,
of
good. I'm
comedy.
making sure. I spoke to a newer comedian about a week back. She's done 4 gigs and they've all gone well so far, and I didn't like that answer.
Here it
I want to hear
comes.
the times you absolutely like,
Yeah,
died and come back to reality.
yeah. I feel like if you 4 good gigs starting out is really tough because like the fall is going to be even harder
Hmm.
because it is coming.
She's a pretty girl though, so I'm not trying to say there's people are always happy to stare at a pretty girl even if they're not funny.
I suppose, yeah, that is true. That is a yeah, that is a problem. People
Yeah.
do like to stare at pretty girls, don't they?
Here's well, there's like when I always try and benchmark like my social media followers to like then like I see like a pretty girl on Instagram has got like 100,000. It's like I'm never gonna get there. But also I don't have. I'm gonna say I don't have tits, but I do. I don't have a glorious face, so it doesn't actually.
No, you believe in yourself. You're pretty.
Thank you. I was going to say I've got glorious tits, but I'll settle for the pretty face. To be honest. So what
Okay.
went wrong on the second night?
Um, I when I watched it back, I was like, this wasn't as bad as I felt it was on
Mm,
stage. But it was just like the jokes obviously weren't the best jokes in the world. They're the first ones I'd ever written,
mm,
and they just sort of got the reception that they deserved, which was like a few chuckles here and there. But obviously, I was expecting it to go down an absolute storm. So, um, and also there was a guy in the crowd who like uh, this is quite a brazen thing to do when you're just starting, but like I did a bit of like asking the audience stuff. Um, and the the guy that I asked, uh, he was one of those people that decided to like do his own jokes. Not he wasn't a comedian, he was an audience member. But there's people who like when you ask them questions, they've got a funny answer for you.
mm,
And and his funny answer was funnier than quite a lot of the jokes that I'd said. So that really sort of destabilized me.
mm. I mean, like when we start out crowd work is sort of quite difficult because like you do stuff about like planning and where it's going to go, where it's going to lead, and
Mm,
it can make or break an act a little bit. So
yeah.
like, do you remember
Also,
what he
I think
said that was better?
yeah, so I had asked him the the joke was about like I was asking if anybody had kids. Um and he was like he had kids and I was asking if they had been through this particular basically this phase. I don't know if you picked this up, but I work as a children's entertainer,
Mm,
and it's really common for kids to like slap you on the ass. They love it. They love spanking you.
brilliant.
Um, like 4 or 5 year old kids. It's quite grim. But it happens a lot. They love it. And the question was like, oh, did your kids go through the spanking phase? And his answer was, I don't know. I locked them in a cupboard.
Okay, fair. Yeah.
Which in the moment, what it was pretty funny, but like he could have done jokes on the stage. It was an open mic. He didn't have to do them in the audience to me. And but yeah, obviously now I might be able to deal with that a bit better. But at the time, I didn't really know what the hell was going on.
I think one
Because
of the
you
diff-
ask, I think,
I think one of the
yeah,
difficult things about comedy is that if you go to say like go watch a concert, go watch a musician, you know you can sing, you can't sing. But
yeah,
in comedy nights, the crowd and like we were both the same before we got into comedy. We thought, oh, it's going to be easy. Crowd members, they all think they're funny as well.
yeah. It's a very good point. I mean, there's uh, going back to Seinfeld, or noting his existent controversies. But going back to Seinfeld, he has a joke about that where he's like, some of you probably thought that you were going to do this. It's like there's people who I think it's more common in America. They'll say things like, "Oh yeah, I was gonna I was going to play professional football before I
Yeah,
injured my leg.
yeah.
It's like, no, no, you weren't. But you can always have been going to do something. Like, yeah, I could have got into comedy. I just
Oh yeah, yeah.
decided.
It's always the but then they like to like. I know, I know. I just feel like, yeah, I was being professional footballer, but I broke my leg. No, you broke your leg during playing football, but it doesn't actually mean you was going to get to the next level. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, but with comedy, there is no barrier of entry.
no, anyone can do it.
Yeah, so like at least with American football, you can say, okay, like look, if you have injured your leg, fair game. Who knows what could have been? But with comedy, there is no who
Mm,
knows what could have been. There's no, oh, you're in your 40s now, you're in your 50s now, you're male, you're female. Oh, sorry, you can't do it. Anybody can get on stage and do it.
it's a very good point. Yes.
So,
Um,
like, did you catch the bug
one of
straight
the nice
away?
things about it. What? As in, like, yeah. I mean, the first gig, because like I said, it went well. I felt the highest I'd ever felt. I felt so good after that gig. I was like, oh my God, and it lasted for ages as well. It was like, yeah,
Okay, and,
it
and
was
when the night didn't go so well, how long did that last?
uh, longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. The first time I was probably still like really chuffed the next morning, and then when it didn't go well, I was still feeling quite defeated the next morning. So um, maybe it did last. I don't know. I think the intensity of the bad feeling lasts longer than the intensity of the high feeling.
And would you sort of say you're your own worst critic?
Absolutely. Especially in the moment, like that can really get in the way. I don't know if you get this, but when you're on stage, you have a completely disproportionate sense of how things are going sometimes, or at least I do.
Yeah. Well, it's like, okay, I'll give you like honest opinion. How do you think I did last Wednesday?
Uh, that's a good question. So, I mean, like the jokes that you did were really good. I don't think it threw your actual performance of your material at all, and you had some like really like zinging responses to some of the stuff that the audience gave you. But I think the problem that you had was maybe that you got like, yeah, I mean, and you've said this too, slightly too annoyed at the sniff head table.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, it wasn't the sniffer table; it was the drunk girl.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Like,
it. I mean, I'm calling it the sniff head table. She was the problem though.
like the thing is, like, you don't mind someone shouting a few things out, but when they shout out every 5 seconds, and
Yeah,
like you just realize like when you get to that point, like you guys like no matter what I say, they're gonna keep talking.
yeah.
So
And
I
also,
just
she was shouting at the crucial point where she was waiting for the gap, the timing gap
yeah.
between the setup and the punchline. That really important moment of silence where everyone's guessing what's coming, and it's really easy to destroy a joke in that moment. Like, it's really hard to make a good joke, but it's incredibly easy to absolutely destroy one if you're an audience member.
But like for me, that was one of the worst gigs I've ever done. Like that was one of my bombs, and I hated it. And I was saying because I like it from perspective because I spoke to another comedian and he was like, "Oh yeah, that was a tough watch," and I really beat myself up over that. But you know, what I'm saying you are your own worst critic.
Really,
Yeah,
I wouldn't say it was a tough watch. Um, for me, that one for you. I mean, like, yeah, I'd say it was probably a learning moment for you in terms of the wine lady. But yeah, I mean, I definitely wouldn't put it in my list of like worst things I've seen.
mm. I mean, I'm about to say that go back that you are your own worst critic. Like, I
Mm.
don't know why that genuinely annoyed me that much to a point. Where, then you sort of feel like, why are you giving this person so much attention?
Yeah.
Almost. And that annoying, but is what it is. You sort of move on, and yeah, no, no, cheers. I feel like my jokes are quite well written. They were a bit over the place, also, but I didn't plan on gigging that night. Like
Oh, really?
I only come down to say hello to Ben because I had a cancellation,
Right.
and then he was, oh, do you want to jump on? I was like, oh, sod it, to be honest. But yeah, no, like I think my jokes are semi okay written. I mean, how do you sort of go about writing your jokes?
Um, I think the best ones are they just sort of like come to me in a moment of inspiration. I just think, oh, that's funny. uh,
Mm.
often in the shower, which is a very standard and boring thing to say.
Yep.
Or like after I've been for a jog, when good chemicals are racing around. What I've been trying to do for a couple of months now is doing 10 minutes of writing a day. I've
That's the
started,
Seinfeld theory. I was waiting for you to sort of say that almost. There's your
yeah.
Seinfeld. Sitting down for an hour a day, no computer, no TV, just you and a book, and just write it down.
I only do 10 minutes, to be fair. I'm not sitting down for an hour or multiple hours. But at first it was just free writing, like trying to do stream of consciousness.
Mm.
But I've slowly tried to sort of like funnel it into writing.
Mm.
Because at first it was all over the place, like all sorts of things would come out, and I've tried to sort of like funnel it into observations. And then some of those end up being funny enough to try out.
Mm. Okay. And how many times would you try a joke like on stage before you either sort of add it, need to tune it, or bin it off?
Um, I feel like it changes for every joke. Sometimes I'll write it and I sort of have a like an inclination that it's going to work, and then I'll do it and it does work, and it came out fully formed the first time and doesn't really change. And then I'll try and change it months later and I'll be like, oh, it doesn't work if I change it. And sometimes I'll have like a stack of, I'll have the core observe the premise, if you like, and then I'll have some things I tried to write to attach onto that. um, like I'll have 5 lines. One of them was the original one, and four are ones that I tried to write to make it into a bigger joke. And only the original one works. And then really have trouble. Like I've got this joke about bananas at the moment, uh,
Okay.
and the core banana joke is very funny, but I'm having a lot of trouble taking it anywhere else other than the core premise about bananas.
And like, does it like fit into your act quite nicely?
Not really. As in, like, does it like gel with the other jokes? Like, is there a place for it,
Yeah,
or
because
does
I
it?
won't spoil it for anyone, but like you've got your car joke,
Yeah,
like, and yeah, I thought that was brilliant, but I couldn't see you like it'd be have to be one bloody amazing segue to move
yeah.
from that onto like a banana bit.
At the moment, I'm putting it off because I have a load of jokes about my flatmate's dog as well,
Hmm.
and some of those are talking about what he likes to eat. So I'm putting it after that at the
Okay.
moment to like segue into, but also then it goes nowhere after that. So it's a bit like I've just said this thing about bananas, and now
Hmm.
sort of return to talking about pets. So I think it's in an okay place at the moment, but that's the other thing is sometimes I feel like I'll write something and it works, and it's like one thing that I know is funny, and I have no place for it, and then it could be months or a year later, suddenly the inspiration comes, or I'll sit down with it to like extend it.
Hmm. Yeah, no, yeah, 100 like so. My twin bit sort of gets added on like that, and then every now and then you'll just think of like a different angle all of a sudden, or like a new bit you can
Yeah.
just insert, and it just changes the whole story altogether. And you're sort of like, how did I not think of this 3 months ago?
Yeah.
And it sort of just works out amazing. I mean, if I do it for 2.5 years, what's one of the I always like asking this one. What's the worst joke you've done on stage, and you think, looking back, why did I think that was funny?
The worst joke I've done on stage. I think there's probably quite a few. I think I might still have some written down, like in my notes app that I've tried. Shall I have a look?
By all means,
So, right,
uh,
so let's for the benefit of the listener, I'm currently navigating to my notes app.
the
Where are
ASMR
we?
fans out there, you love Joel, don't you? You can see the way he went into deadpan comedy.
Will I start making some mouth noises for everyone to enjoy?
Well, that's the
Um,
whole banana act, isn't it? Just you eating a banana next to the mic really slowly. They love it.
uh, oh, this is not going to be a very interesting segment for your listeners.
No, it's absolutely fine. They don't
Um,
usually. They don't.
I don't.
They don't last this long on the recordings anyway. So it's fine. No, I'm joking.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, so no one's listening at this point. Uh, I have never tried this, but I've just found a note in my notes that just says, "Have you seen bikes now?"
Bikes.
Um, yeah, bikes.
Okay.
I had, uh, you know what? One thing comes to mind that just completely died, and that is, I it was about listening to podcasts and the advice that you get on podcasts, and that was there's this idea that you're supposed to eat vegetables at the beginning of every meal to create a fiber carpet for your gut.
Okay.
Um, and I was like, and the joke was like, yeah, I mean, I'll do anything that they tell me on a podcast. Of course, I'll upholster my gut, and that was supposed to be the killer line just there. That I'm going to upholster. How ridiculous! He's going to upholster his gut. Who does this
Mm.
guy think he is? Um, I feel like that joke is not bad enough for it to be interesting that it wasn't bad as well. That's the that's what's really going for it here is that it's not it's not a terrible joke that didn't work. It's just a really dull joke that didn't work and isn't funny or interesting in any sense.
Yeah. Could it be well written? It's just like I don't know. Like I'm holding. I get it, but it's sort of like I've got no frame of reference
Yeah, there's
whatsoever.
no.
I mean, like most of the podcasts I seem to come up on my timeline, which I know the algorithm probably because I've clicked on it before, is sort of like men trying to be kings and women like go get that bag and things like that,
Hmm.
and like like the
Well, you've
state
got to
of
be
sort of
listening to more.
society at the moment.
You've got to listen to the health podcasts.
Oh, I don't know. I don't.
Okay, right.
I don't, to be honest. I mean, yeah. So, like being from London, have you done any? Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. I'll go into a rant one now. London, bringer spots. Do you
Yeah.
attend?
I have recently made the decision that I'm not going to be doing any more bringer spots
Why is that?
because I feel that I deserve not to.
Beautifully, beautifully. I reckon if you've done zero gigs in your time, you deserve not to.
Right,
Because
that's
I,
fair enough.
so what's your take on them? What's the hot take
My,
from Mr. Walker?
my take on them is I feel like, I disagree with a lot of people on the issue. I'm somewhere in the middle. Early on, bringers were really helpful because it's sort of like it kind of isn't a real gig. It kind of can be. I don't agree when people say, oh, it's never a real gig.
Hmm.
That's not true because they can be as well. um it's sort of like it's almost like a club where you're trying stand up for the first time. It's like a club of people who've got together
Hmm.
and they're giving it a go.
Yeah,
uh,
open mic bringer spots, no problem. When you're
yeah.
portraying it as a comedy night where people have to pay to get in,
Oh,
I have
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
problem.
Yeah, if you're selling tickets, why are you also asking the acts to bring an audience member?
100%. 100%. I'm gonna say like I've never done a bringer spot. I never will. I remember the first time I applied to one,
Yeah.
and they said to me, "You've got to bring someone." And I said to them, like, "Look, none of my mates will be interested, but I can guarantee you, I will drink 10 pints behind the bar." So they're going to be happy. Like the bar,
Uh-huh.
in
Sorry, did
London, that makes 60 quid off me. And
did
they were
you
like,
drink 10 pints?
"Pardon?"
Did you drink 10
No,
pints
I
at the
would
gig?
have.
Or
I
did
would have.
they?
If I'm not
Oh,
driving and I'm gigging somewhere, I'll probably cane 10, 11, 12 pints that night.
well, how often do you gig?
Twice a week.
You've got to listen to some of these health podcasts, man.
But I drive to most. But
Yeah.
I don't gig in London anymore. But
Right.
like because yeah, um, you get more time, better crowds out, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, yeah, it's that's one benefit of like trying not to do bringers. Has really like pushes me out of London, which is good.
Because
Because you get crowds
the other thing with
like
bringers
the
are a
one at
challenge.
Croydon.
So you know, if they said right, it's a bringer, but we're only going to have 5 acts on, you each get 10 minutes. I'd be more entertained to that. Okay, you're getting more than the the normal 5 slot in London, absolutely fine. You're
Mm.
offering something different. But 5 minutes, it just seems you're trying to pack it as much full of people who don't want to be there, or like yeah, that and yeah, pack of people as much you don't want to be there, and basically to like make your place look bigger and better than what it is. And I just feel like
Yeah.
it's false economics.
Yes. There's thinking of a few examples, right? Too Far Comedy. That's a bringer night that I've enjoyed every time I've been there. Because the guy who's running it is running it to run like a fun, supportive room where everyone has a good time.
Yeah.
But there's two other that's like the best case scenario for a bringer night.
Mm.
There's two other um what would you call them, like formats. One is the bringer night where they are trying to like basically fleece money out of new comedians and their friends,
Yeah.
and then the other one is where they are using new comedians and their bringers as an audience for their new material. So you'll have like a group of 3 or 4 comedians. They've set up a night and they're getting new comedians and their bringers to come in basically so that they can get an extra gig in a week. Um,
Yeah.
and I can see why you would want to do that, but it is a little bit, it, you know,
Mm.
it's using them.
And I feel there's so many places in London that are open mic level that aren't bringers, and they're packing rooms out because the promoters are doing their jobs. Like
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
messaged.
exactly. I mean, there's plenty of nights that aren't. Yeah.
Is that I've messaged about probably about 10, 12
Sorry, yeah,
bringer
carry on.
places in London, trying to get them on the pod to try and talk about why they're bringers, all that, and they all refuse outright. Because I feel like
Right.
they can't defend it unless it's sort of it is made cash grab yet trying to bring on new comedians. And I think it does give a negative reflection for people at the beginning of their stand up. I mean, like how long was you having to do 5 minute slots in London until you sort of moved on to like the tens, the 15s?
Until very recently. I mean, I think I missed a trick because basically people will most nights won't like offer you longer. They'll not be like, oh, I've seen you a few times, and some people do, and there's some really really sound people running nights that will be like, I've seen you smash it a few times, have a longer spot, come back without a bringer, things like that. But most places will just let you come back and do a 5 minute bringer spot however many times and will never say anything because, you're coming in and guaranteeing them a good act, and
Yeah.
B, you're bringing an audience member with you and you've been reliable. And yeah, so that's another thing that I hate about bringers is that you don't necessarily get rewarded for being reliable. They just think, oh, great, this guy's going to come. He's going to bring a bringer every time and he's going to do a good act. I'm getting a lot out of this.
Mm.
Um, and then you don't go anywhere. You don't gain anything from it other than the 5 minutes of stage time once every month.
Mm. Yeah.
So up until very recently, I've just been doing fives mostly because I never asked anyone. And someone was like, until you start asking people, most people aren't going to offer you more time. So
Mm.
this year, I've really been more on that, like um, asking for longer, trying to get longer videos. I remember it was like a real milestone moment when I got a really decent 7 minute video. I was like, here we go.
Yeah.
And I still haven't got a really decent 10 video because this is like a catch 22 where I can't get a good 10 spot because I don't have a really good video. And I can't get a really good video because I don't have a good 10 spot. Um, but that's I've got some I've made some progress on that one. So
Well, that's one thing. Like, I'll always give credit where credit's due. Ben at Ginger Giggle Club. Like,
yeah.
I think one, he puts on a great night. There's always a fairly decent sized crowd, and he
Mm,
will give people the chance, to do fives, tens. Like, also say how he almost goes along the ethos of do as long as you want, but be self aware of when it's going good and when it's going bad. Like,
yes,
if you're
which is yeah,
bombing,
yeah.
if you're bombing, don't go up to be like, right, well, I'm going to do a 20. Like, but if it's going good and everyone's loving it,
Not
you'll be like,
not
look,
everybody has that. Not everybody has that self-awareness, though, do
Mm.
they? Some people will just bomb all the way to 30 minutes if they're allowed to. But yeah, no, I really respect Ben for putting people on like that, and just yeah, no, he's putting on quite a few gigs. There is basically always an audience. The first one I went to, there was quite a small crowd, but they were actually really nice. Like I was sort of like, I was on quite, I think I was on last until another guy showed up who was supposed to be on last. So I'd been there for like 2 hours, and I was like, I'm really not feeling this. I don't want to get up. This crowd aren't gonna. And then I got, and it was actually a really good gig. So
You remember the last guy's name?
he plays a ukulele, I think,
Oh, Dan Springford.
possibly.
Yeah, quite a small guy. Really crowd work king.
Yes, yeah, I think so.
Yes,
Yeah,
fucking lad, innit? He's episode 94. He's my boy. He
cool.
when I saw him, he made me have to like rewrite all my material. He was one of
Really?
them ones. Like just
What,
his
he
crowd
forced
work
you
is
to,
killer.
or
Huh?
he forced you to,
No, he didn't
or
force me to. But you know when you watch someone, you're like, you think you're doing okay, and then you watch someone, and you're like, no, that's how you do it.
yeah, yeah.
It was like
Yeah.
it was like the other day I was gigging with him and like he actually made me spit my drink out. You know the ukulele joke, like
Yeah.
it's not actually a ukulele, like it's and this guy in the crowd goes, "That was shit," and he goes, "Do you want to hear a shit joke?" And he goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "Your life." And it was just such a childish response, and it's just like I'm dying here, and I had to go like
Yeah,
hide behind the banner.
when sometimes I think like the shittest things, like the shittest comebacks, are actually the best ones, especially for certain types of crowd. I remember once someone, it was a weird gig. I was in like in this venue. They're normally upstairs, but there's like a big room for stand up, and there was only 6 people booked that week. So we did it in Zebrano's Brentwood. This is the venue, by the way, for any comedians that might be familiar. Zebrano's Brentwood. We did it in their like private dining room. So it's basically 6 people sat around a table, and we just took it in turns coming in and entertaining 6 people sat around like a dinner table. Um, and one of them was like, it was basically, it was a conversation. It wasn't like a performance. It was a conversation between us and the people at the table. And at one point, the guy was like talking about his cousin, and he was like, yeah, he's not a comedian though, a bit like you, which is like a very standard canned heckle. And all I could come up with to say back was like, uh, well, I'm not a comedian, but you're not a real audience. And I thought that's not going to be funny. But then they like it killed them. They thought it was incredible. They're like, we're not a real audience. So sometimes just the most basic thing, just because it comes out in the moment, people will always be really impressed by it.
Well, that's what I always think. Like with crowd work, the fruit is a lot lower, the bar's a lot lower because it is live in that moment. It's not rehearsed, so
Mm,
yeah, it's just being witness to
yeah,
something
I
innovative
remember
and fresh.
Seth.
Go
Yeah, it's that it has that smart. People know it's created in the moment, so there's something magic about it.
on.
There's more like tension in the air.
I,
Seth MacFarlane, the Family Guy guy, you know
mm.
him.
Like, do you have
People
sort of
used to
formula?
ask a lot.
Do you have a
What's that?
formula? Do you have a formula when it comes to crowd work?
No, not at all. I mean, it's like trying to stay in the persona, because
Mm.
obviously when I'm on stage, I'm slightly different to how I am in real life. So it's like I think it's funnier if if you're more stable, like if you aren't thrown by what's going on, if you can stay in your bubble, that's when
Mm. How
when you
did
get
you decide upon
funny.
that persona? Did you like just do it from the beginning? Is it what you felt more comfortable with? Like, I can't
No,
imagine
no.
you thinking like, I want to go be Lee Evans.
uh, yeah, I think at the beginning I was more like sort of like jovial and energetic, but the feedback generally was like, "Oh, you seem funnier um, when you're more like serious and deadpan." So I was like, I tried to run with that basically, and I tried, yeah, just going more and more into it and being more serious.
I mean, you're the type of
And
person I'd want to tell me bad news.
Really?
You got that tone, like like calming tone presence, like like
Okay. Well,
and your nan's died.
I'm sorry to be the one to tell you this, but there's two skeletal dogs making love right behind you. Don't look now because they'll be embarrassed.
Caught in the act. Yeah, I enjoyed it. There was a third one, but he survived.
Really?
Mm, he lived. No, I got two dashhounds. So like all my
Uh-huh.
ornaments are like like dashhound orientated.
Okay. Right.
To be
How
honest.
long have you had them for? The dogs?
Pardon? Oh, what?
How,
Loki's
how old are they?
7, Rolo's 5. No, they're from the pub. To be honest, like I've got a skeleton there as well with a balaclava thingy on. So yeah, I
Do you
bought them
just
for
bring things
Halloween.
home from the pub?
What's that?
Do you just bring things home from the pub then?
No, I sold the pub in May this year.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I
So
remember you were
that's what all
talking
like the
about.
frames are from as well. They're all
Yeah.
like that's not my degree. That's my lordship. So one of my customers bought me a lordship.
Really? Were you
So
what were you Lord of? Because is that a
um
thing? You're like Lord Daniel of.
Lord Farr. No, I think if you own a bit of land, you become a lord. So I think that's I think it's like from Prince Andrew of Sealand. I'm glad it says of Sealand, not just Prince Andrew. And yeah, Isle of Sealand. I think I own like a meter square bit of grass. So that's how you become a lord.
Sweet. And you
Yeah.
can do whatever you want with that grass.
Anyway, it's a thriving community. The ants are lovely. They're well fed. We did have a problem though. A bit of gentrification happened. I mean, we're a black ant community, so red ants tried to come in,
Oh
tear up the
God.
place. We weren't a fan, but we sorted it out quite nicely. To be
Okay.
honest.
Well, I mean, I I I have heard that there's like quite a lot of stereotypes about red ants that aren't actually true, and that there's a lot of stuff in the media at the moment about red ants. It's quite a hot button issue, and I think
It's a hot topic. Yeah.
yeah.
And people try and cash out on it easily because say there was probably about 100 red ants. They were good. One red ant was a bit of a prick, and they just
Hmm.
focused on that one red ant. I don't know why, but it sold in Bugs Time Weekly, so they did well. To be
All
honest,
right.
you
Okay.
know. But
But
grasshoppers,
what
absolute
so the
pricks.
red
I'll die
ants
on that
do?
hill. So I love that.
Okay.
Okay,
You
so
said it, not me.
go on, Joe.
Hmm?
What are you saying?
I say you said it, not me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, cancel culture's a thing. If I get cancelled for hating on the red ants, then that's the hill I guess I'm going to die on. Right. Yeah. So going to London. How have we done any gong shows?
Yeah. I've done Big Belly and Blackout.
Oh, okay. How did you find them both? And what'd you say the difference in the two is?
The difference, I mean, it's a good question. I don't really, just my experience of both of them has been quite varied each time.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, Big Belly is a smaller room, so in my experience, Big Belly has been less, like it's less likely to be horrendous.
Hmm.
Then some people say the other way around. I've heard people saying, "Oh, the Blackout is, it's a nice crowd. It's not like Big Belly where they're horrible to you." But actually, I've seen more horrible stuff at Blackout for sure.
Hmm.
Um, I think Big Belly, the crowd is more likely to be a bit dead,
Yeah.
whereas Blackout, the problem is more likely to be that the crowd are too lively. And what happens is because it's a big room, they get bored by the second half. Like by the end of Blackout, there's people there who are just they're bored and they're yelling stuff at you, and it doesn't matter how funny you are. The front row can be loving your stuff, and then it just gets completely derailed because there's people shouting at you from the back. That's been my experience on a couple of occasions
Yeah.
where
I get that. I
Big
feel like
Belly,
Blackout has
first
returning
time I did it
customers.
was great.
I think with the Blackout, there's a lot of returning
Yes,
people who go there
yeah,
who know the deal. They know when to call people out and stuff. Where Big Belly, it's done. For anyone who doesn't know, it's done in the afternoon near Waterloo East Station. I know it's not Waterloo East Station. I know it's like 2 minutes, 5 minutes from there. and it's during the day,
Yeah,
about 3 o'clock after a bottomless brunch. So they are
yeah,
genuinely quite slaughtered.
yeah. It's and also they black out the room, so it's sort of like an evening crowd.
Yeah,
Um,
Thursday evening
uh,
crowd. Weatherspoon's opposite it, where you can buy £2 pints. So they can get on it quite
yeah.
quickly. Have you done Comedy Store yet? Gong, King Gong.
No, I tried to get on, but they had booked up completely for this season, and
Okay.
I haven't emailed since. Have you done it?
That was my first ever gig.
Really?
Yeah, my first ever gig was
How'd
that.
it go?
I've
How'd it
told the
go?
story so many times. I emailed him about five. First time I ever did comedy, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna smash this. I'm gonna do comedy. I don't know what a gong show is. Oh, I emailed them at 5 o'clock in the evening. They got back to me at 6 o'clock saying we've had a couple of dropouts tonight. Come along. So I was like, cool. Shower, shit, shave on the train. Second on the bill, and yeah, I lasted a minute 23.
That's not too bad for your first gig.
No,
Um,
I always like to say, bear in mind there were 40 acts on that night,
40.
and only two got through. Some people last like the guy after me was giving me advice. He lasted 7 seconds.
You remember who it was?
Yeah, it was this. I know he was. I can't remember his name. It was a big guy from New Zealand, and the second he spoke, they just shouted like, "Get this Kiwi off the fucking stage!" 7 seconds. One card, two card, three card off. Like
Yeah.
so, if it goes to brutality, King Gong is the worst. Like it is.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then, so
Well, yeah.
have you passed Big Belly? Have you passed Blackout?
Yeah. So I did Blackout first time when I was about 9 months into comedy, and I thought, you know what, this is going well. I'm going to go and smash the Blackout, and I got kicked off immediately after the grace period.
Mm.
And then I didn't do a gong show again for over a year, maybe 18 months or so, and I went to Big Belly, did the Ding Dong Gong show, got through, and yeah, it felt really good because I was so nervous beforehand. I was like, this is going to be horrible.
Mm.
And then it went well and it felt great. So I did it again a few months after and got through that time. And the last three times I've done Blackout, I have got through. The the first, so I've done it three times this year, I think. The first two of those, um, I got through, but I sort of thought I didn't really deserve to. Like it wasn't, my best time. By the end, I flagged it a little bit. The second time, I sort of like forgot part of my own joke, which is always embarrassing because, I wrote that joke, so I shouldn't really be forgetting it. But the third time it actually went really well, and I was pleased with how things sort of panned out.
I mean, not talking about you, but comedians in general. Do you think gong shows show a reflection of somebody's comedic abilities?
To an extent,
Gong?
they yeah. So but there's so many variables. The last time I did Blackout, where I felt it went the best, it was a nice crowd. Like it wasn't the normal crowd for Blackout at all. It wasn't a load of like nasty people. There was like quite a nice crowd, and also the emceeing was better. Like
Who
it
was it? Joe the compare was?
uh what's his name? Bemi and
Oh, yeah, the duo.
who's
Yeah,
the other guy?
that's solid. They are. Yeah.
Yeah, the duo. I can do it. Yeah. So they were great. They got the crowd really like worked up into a nice place. The time I did it before that is the only time I've seen the compare. She was like encouraging them to boo people, basically. The time before that, the guy like, he didn't stop them from booing by any means. He didn't encourage them to. He was like, let's be nice to the acts. Obviously, he said that at the beginning and didn't come back to it at all because that's not it is supposed to be brutal. That's like the draw of the show. That's why people come to it.
When did you last do Blackout?
A couple of weeks ago, maybe, yeah, two
Was it
weeks
the
ago or something.
27th?
Let me have a look on my calendar for you.
27th?
Uh,
28th. 28th of August.
no, it was on the 4th of September.
Okay, yeah, no worries. I was there on the 28th. And
Okay, cool. How did it go for you?
pardon?
How did it go for you?
No, I weren't on. Basically, one of my mate
Oh,
was coming up from Bournemouth, so I said to him, "I'll Like, I'll come say hello to you, to be honest.
Yeah.
And yeah, he didn't get through, but his jokes are very. He's a very dark comic, like talking about like having sex with like um roadkill and stuff. And
Right.
whilst I
You,
find
you
it
know,
funny, I was like, this the crowd will not be for you. I didn't say this to him, but it's like
yeah.
the crowd aren't gonna like you. Like,
For me, that's a couple of times I've been to Black. I think that's the stuff that they've enjoyed. Like the people who did the, sort of quickest, dirtiest jokes were the ones who were getting through. That was the first time I went.
yeah, but he looked like a serial killer. Like, I think is that like one of them times where like all the comedians are laughing, but none of the crowd's laughing.
Oh, right,
The
yeah,
comedians appreciate how well written the joke is, everything like that. Oh, yeah, didn't see that coming. But the crowd are like, yeah, they don't like the topics.
yeah, yeah. I
So,
get you. That's a shame. I always think there's a certain sense of pride, isn't there, when you're making the comedians laugh, but
mm,
you'd also think this is this, you know, it's not necessarily the goal, is it?
it's like the comedian's comedian. I mean, talking about, like him joking about dark stuff. What's your opinion on can you joke about anything?
And you joke about anything. Yeah, I mean, you can. You can joke about anything, and the audience will let you know immediately if it was funny or not.
Okay, so like, what are your views on the rooms where they're like, you can't do no sexist, racist, homophobic jokes?
I think that's fine because they know that their audience aren't going to enjoy those things.
Mm, okay. And
Um,
if you're aware of that before you perform there, then
yeah,
and you've still chose to perform there, then it's
then yeah, I mean, you've put that on yourself. It's like, yeah, I think you have to be. Yes, you can do those jokes. I don't like I don't do jokes like that.
mm,
I think you there's plenty of people that do them, but I think if you tell a joke and it and the energy in the room completely dies and no one finds it funny, you can't then blame the audience for not finding it funny, especially if you've been warned that that crowd
mm.
doesn't like what you're about to do.
Have you had one of them moments where it's going well, you've done a joke and the tone
Yeah,
has just changed?
yeah. I used to have some jokes about cancer because there's a few um, there's a few cancers going around in my family, and I remember there was one that like sometimes people found it really really funny, and sometimes they found it sort of like a bit funny. It had never just like completely died, and I told it once, and there were just so many blank stares in the room, like the energy of like I can't believe you've said that. That I just after that I axed it. I was like I can't risk that, even if sometimes people really like that joke. I can't really risk.
It's too much of a gamble. You actually reminded me
Yeah,
of a one thing I like about talking about comedians. It reminds me of funny moments in my own life. I remember at a family dinner, there was about 12 of us, and we were doing the thing. You know, when you write a name in a hat, and they've got to do 21 questions.
yeah,
And I everyone wrote down. I for some reason thought I'd write down a porn star's name, and like my mum ended up getting the porn star's name, and like everyone wrote things like Winnie the Pooh, Father Christmas, things like that. And there was guys, but then no one realised who this porn star was. So then all of a sudden, like my mum googled who she was, and was like, up come a video of her getting like gangbanged and stuff. And it was just like the most cringiest moment of not only being like how I know this porn star, but just killing the complete room. Where everyone's like Winnie the Pooh, way Santa Claus, way. Oh, porn star, yeah, okay, yeah, I wasn't gonna get that. And just the
What, and
second
and
hand
nobody found it
cringe.
funny. Yeah,
Oh, such a
that's
bad moment. What's the worst thing you've seen happen on stage?
the worst thing. It was from the stage, and it was at uh, a little pub in South London, and uh, and there was it was like the gig that we did, but there was a group of locals who sort of owned the pub, and they were friends with the landlord as well, so they literally owned the pub, and they were, joining in their own way. They were what most people would call heckling, but basically they were sort of like enjoying the night in their way. Like they wanted to be involved. They were up for a laugh, but um, not every comedian is like all about bringing the audience in and like having banter with the geezers. So
Yeah.
it can be tough. But anyway, so it was that setting. That's the setting. And there was an act there who had already had a bit of a disagreement with them, and so there was already some bad blood
Mm.
between them and this act. And then when the act got on stage to perform, they were yelling things, and the act was sort of like responding to it, but they weren't, taking it in good faith.
Mm.
Because it's something you can sort of like when we did our gig on Wednesday in Corringham, a guy came up to me afterwards and he was like, the best thing you can do here is just get up on stage and rip the shit out of the audience because we're gonna
Oh,
love.
one of the Cokehead Barry, yeah.
Yeah, Cokehead Barry, the guy covered in paint. Um, but I mean, so this act was sort of doing that, ripping the shit out of the audience, but they weren't going for it, and they were like shouting nasty things. And then most of them left and went outside. But then later on, when they came back in, uh, and I was on the stage, I think it's important context that the act was a woman, so it's like genuinely get like a dangerous scenario. She was trying to get out. She was sitting on the table next to them. She tried to get up so she could get away with them, and one of them like blocked her and tried to keep her sitting on the bench.
Mm.
Um, uh, with so basically, before that point, I'd never like seen an assault from the stage. But that was interesting. Sort of like 5 minutes into my 10 minute set, for like harassment to have to be diffused in the room of the
Yeah.
bar. Luckily, after that, it calmed down, but was sort of really at a loose end for what to do.
Yeah, it is because you hear about the stories quite a bit, and it's a bit shocking when you actually witness them firsthand.
Yeah,
All right.
I mean, I've heard plenty of stories about like people starting fights with the MC because they've been put down. But I think we also have a different experience. Like I think if I was a woman getting up on the stage in one of those pubs, I don't think I'd be able to do those kinds of gigs because it is just more dangerous. And also, I think there's plenty of sexism as well.
No, 100%. 100. Yeah, there is 100%. All right. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's upsetting it happens.
So I think we've got a bit of luck there, being able to,
Yeah,
yeah,
being a white
being able to
male,
do these
with
gigs.
a
Yeah,
sort of, we're sort of fortunate. I know it is shocking that it does happen, and we do need to speak up about it happening. Um, yeah, and I think that's what we can do. Just not be part of the problem. Try and help the solution. All right. No, I mean,
yeah. I think yeah,
I
I
mean,
think the
99%
solution
of
is
people
for
are like that as well, though. 99% of people, we're normal people. Just like my
yeah.
ant community. 99% of us are fine. That one dickhead
Yeah.
redhead though, they're pricks. So go on, Joe. I'll end it with this one. Mate. Someone's never done comedy before. They come to you and say, Joel, I'm thinking about getting into stand up. What advice could you give me?
I'd say go to comedy, go to some open mics, and just uh, go to a few open mics and hear the stuff that everyone's doing, um, because you'll hear the same stuff over and over again, and that's what you want to avoid. You want to try
Mm.
and be authentic and find out what's funny from your own perspective, and absolutely don't say stuff that you've heard on the internet. So I think people do that without realizing it.
Go on.
You just hear a lot of like kind of like meme language,
What, like Slay Queen, get the bag?
stuff like that. Yeah. And just the phrases that people have heard on the internet, and it's like you can't replace a punchline with a bit of humor. That's like, yeah, just watch what's going on and make sure that you're being authentic. Um,
Yeah,
that's my advice.
no, I like that. I mean, one thing I was quite amazed by is like, when I started out, I did a lot of like colloquial terminology in my sets and stuff. And then like when you travel a little bit, it's sort of like,
Right,
using these phrases won't catch on somewhere else. Like I use on my day to day, I use a bit of Cockney, but it doesn't bode up north.
right. They don't get it.
So
Yeah,
yeah, I'd sort of be aware of that. And like yeah, so like that's why I sort of in my I don't try and do like things about dating apps, ex girlfriends, things like that, because everyone seems
yes,
to talk about that. Like,
yeah,
like
yeah.
the
Although
one
to
thing.
be fair, I don't know whether the audience are always bothered by it, but it's still good. It's good to make yourself stand out by doing something a bit different, isn't it? Or just doing
Like,
something that I don't think it matters if you talk about the same thing as everyone else, as long as you're bringing your perspective to it.
mm,
It's just like to be cautious rather than to avoid.
yeah, no, yeah, but yeah, yeah, a fresh perspective. Yeah, as long as it doesn't matter if the same topic everyone else has covered, but make sure it's a fresh perspective. But also, one thing I love hearing about when I watch a comedian, I love also learning something a bit about them as well. Like
What, as
that's why
in,
I like doing the twin bit because I do have a twin.
right? Yeah,
Like when people hear me, they then know that about me.
yeah. I think you're right. Like it's really interesting to hear like a tidbit about someone's life, and then you get the whole thing afterwards. You're like, I wonder if that was true or if they just made that up for a joke.
Mm. Well, I did Peter do his blind parents bit?
Yes.
Yeah, after a gig, someone came up to him and was like, "Do you actually have blind parents?" And he's like, "What sort of psycho would write about having blind parents if you don't have blind parents?"
Yeah.
Like,
And
I,
honestly, I'm thinking the same thing. Like, really, he's got two blind apps that work, but
yeah, he's good. I
yeah.
like him. I was guilty of that also. I had an act on Bobby Jeffro, great comedian, and he has a stutter. And I was like, "Oh, do you stutter for the bit?" And he was like, "No, I have a stutter." And then you just feel like a grade A prick. Like, oh, sorry. Like, yeah, why would you make that up?
Yeah.
Really well. Yeah. Joel, cheers for coming on, dude. Really enjoyed this. I
Thank you
really
so much for
appreciate it,
having an
brother. All right.
interesting chat. Thank you.
Cheers, everyone for watching. Cheers. Bye.